Gabby Press commentary on ZeroHedge article. The Great Globalist Reset by Colin Todhunter. The future of American jobs after the globalist reset makes U.S. middle-class workers redundant. There are just too many damn people. December 26, 2025. Introduction to ZeroHedge article. In 1982, NC Department of Labor Economic Analysis predicted that computer-integrated manufacturing in textiles, tobacco and furniture would devastate the NC labor force. The analysis described a job loss in manufacturing from 850,000 jobs to around 150,000 by the year 2000. The response from the governor and NC General Assembly was, ho-hum. The Department of Labor job loss prediction was accurate. Since that time, the globalist reset has gained momentum, and Colin Todhunter describes the imminent danger confronting middle and working class workers in the United States from the unregulated corporate implementation of artificial intelligence. As was the case in 1982, there is, today, a pathway out of the totalitarian globalist future, but this time, not taking that path will mean more than the loss of jobs. This time it will mean the permanent loss of individual liberty and a future of a techno-feudalist order, where American citizens are the new slaves to the globalist ruling class. Excerpts from ZeroHedge article. Land of Confusion. The Great Reset in Motion by Colin Todhunter. Quote, artificial intelligence, robotics and economic decline increasingly make much of this labor force redundant. Of course, the structural readjustment of economies leads to huge social tensions. Meanwhile, digital ID and central bank digital currencies will create a system of total surveillance. In this emerging system, the citizen is replaced by the managed subject, whose access to the economy is contingent upon a social credit score. The globalist economic future means a transition from a productive capitalist model, which required a healthy mass labor force, to what Yanis Varoufakis calls a techno-feudalist order. The globalist reset is a deliberate controlled demolition of the 20th century social contract by the financial ruling class that sacrifices the productive middle class. End quote. Gabby Press analysis and commentary. In the introduction of our book, Ending the Predatory Corporate Capitalist War on the American Middle Class, we explain the financial logic of the globalist reset strategy. The very simple goal of the reset was to direct global income and wealth flows to a very small set of global corporations and banks. The first step in the global corporate reset strategy was to hollow out the American economic structure by moving production and technology to China. This first step devastated North Carolina workers in small towns. Manufacturing workers who lost their jobs went on government welfare or began working at fast food chains or as greeters at Walmart. The second step in the global corporate reset strategy was to create powerful political lobbying machines, like the U.S.-China Business Council, to lock in the gains from global trade using political influence. The political lobbying was enhanced by the use of global organizations, like the United Nations, and global non-government agencies, to usurp the democratic consent of the citizens with non-accountable global agencies. The internal supply chains of globalist economic trade replaced the competitive price dynamics of a capitalist market economy with profit flows that exclusively benefited the global ruling class elite. As the ZeroHedge article correctly points out, the globalist reset is a deliberate controlled demolition of the 20th century social contract by the financial ruling class that sacrifices the productive middle class. But the ZeroHedge article misses an important point. It is not simply the American social contract of the 20th century that is being destroyed. The main target of the globalist reset is the 2,500-year individualistic moral values of Western civilization, in order to replace those cultural values with the global collectivist techno-feudalist order. The uncontrolled corporate deployment of artificial intelligence is the main tool of citizen totalitarian control. The Gabby Press solution to the globalist reset strategy. The Gabby Press solution echoes the ideas in the ZeroHedge article, Work, Welfare and the Illusion of a New Eden by Richard Porter. Porter hits upon the single most important point about Western civilization individualist values. He writes, quote, humans have the capacity to reason and imagine, create and innovate, that other animals do not have. Humans aspire, acquire, and achieve. Humans trade labor for things we cannot or do not wish to make ourselves. To provide for future needs. To enjoy plenty, luxury, and convenience. Humans are social animals too, so we work with others to build what a single person could not, and to gain status or admiration from other humans. End quote. The three recent economic Nobel laureates extend the insights from Porter. All three economists write about how technology innovation allows societies to become more prosperous over time, describing that technological innovation fuels national economic growth. What Gabby Press adds to Porter and the Nobel laureates is that technology innovation requires the moral and cultural values of Western civilization individualism. As Joel Mocker points out, technology innovation must be born into a sympathetic environment. Mocker leaves out the part about what constitutes the sympathetic environment, and Gabby Press steps in to add that it is exclusively the sympathetic environment of white Western civilization. The Gabby Press Pathway Out of Global Techno-Feudalism. In our most recent book, Beneficial Economics: A Red State Citizen's Guide to Crafting a Better Constitution When the Government Fails the Citizens, we describe how red state citizen must craft a new constitution that protects citizens from global corporate techno-fascism. Madison's constitution did not provide sufficient citizen protections, which allowed global corporations to rig the system. The better red state constitution has three main components. From Gabby Press. Executive Summary. How red state citizens can craft a better economic constitution. Political decentralization. In the implementation of political decentralization, the constitutional constraints on the power of the national government are written into the new constitution, at the very top of the introductory text. Economic decentralization in a metro-regional entrepreneurial society. The macro-constitutional rules of the game, in the pre-constitutional rulemaking era, create the level playing field of microeconomic rules for citizens to play the game after the Constitution has been ratified. Protection against economic coercion. No entity, whether governmental or private, shall use economic power to coerce citizens into actions against their will or their best interests. Citizens have the right to be secure their livelihood without surrendering their fundamental liberties. The future of American individual liberty depends on the path taken by red state citizens. The current predatory global capitalist model is a new version of the Italian corporate government alliance that ends in an irreversible global totalitarianism, which deploys the tools of AI and human-like robots to subjugate free citizens. Just like the first step in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step for red state citizens is to admit that the government has failed the citizens. After that step, the next step is for red state citizens to force state legislatures to create citizen-led constitutional study commissions to begin the task of writing a better constitution for red states. Madison's constitution cannot be fixed. The moral and cultural differences between red state citizens and blue state citizens are irreconcilable. As was the case in 1982, there is, today, a pathway out of the totalitarian globalist future, but this time, not taking that path will mean more than the loss of jobs. This time it will mean the permanent loss of individual liberty and a future of a techno-feudalist order, where red state American citizens are the new slaves to the globalist ruling class. About Gabby Press. Gabby is short for the Great American Business and Economics Press. Gabby is the imprint publisher of books and blogs about topics related to American economic liberty and how fair constitutional rules create mutually beneficial financial outcomes for middle and working class citizens. Our website offers an educational gathering place for ordinary common red state citizens to prepare for the urgent issues that confront the economic and political reality in the U.S. today. Buy our books direct from us at our website www.gabbypress.com. View our free educational PowerPoints at our website.